And we have Sarah, who is going to give us our prayer. Sarah is one of the prayer practitioners in training, and so we're happy to have her. We've got Sarah Mayo, who's going to be giving us the music, and that's a wonderful thing too. And this is her first time here, so we're excited for that. And I just know we're going to have an inspired, uplifted service. And let's go for it. So, Sarah, will you start us off with a prayer?
Wow. Okay, let's place our hands on our hearts and just center in, close your eyes and center into this moment as we say a prayer on Mother's Day. Just so grateful to partner up with the divine, our higher Holy Spirit self, and so thankful to come together today to celebrate Spirit and honor all mothers, whether that's our own mother, ourselves as a mother, or even the mother within, that part of ourselves that cares for and nurtures ourselves. We honor and bless the many ways that we all hold that energy, that mothering energy, unconditionally loving and caring for ourselves and those we love on this beautiful Mother's Day. We're so grateful for our beautiful speaker, Jennifer Hadley, and for Sarah's high vibrational music today, and for their healing words of wisdom and love and truth. And we choose to allow their messages to elevate our consciousness and uplift our souls and flow through every cell of our beings. We willingly give up and lay upon God's holy altar any grievances, blocks to love, fear, lack, limitation, or separation. And we choose to place all of our faith and trust in God, knowing that we are always being guided to the highest and best for all in every moment of our lives. And we declare our worthiness of divine love, joy, harmony, peace, and abundance. We are so grateful to share the benefits with all because we are one, and so it is, and we let it be. Amen.
Amen, amen, amen. Thank you, Sarah. A beautiful prayer. Really lays a wonderful foundation. We just finished our prayer power classes, and I am on fire with prayer. I just love it so much. Yay, yay, God. Yay, God, for inventing prayer. Well done, you. Okay, so Sarah Mayo is going to give us music, and I'm just floating here in a cloud, and I have not got Sarah's bio right in front of me, so I'm just going to take a minute to bring it back up again. And my apologies, how unprofessional. Oh, where is that bio? Oh, well, Sarah, if you're okay with it, I am going, which I'm sure you are. I will share your bio after you perform.
Yeah, that totally works.
Great.
Fluid.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Y'all can hear me okay? Yes?
Yes, you sound beautiful.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. I just want to say I'm really excited to be here, to be in presence with all of y'all. So thank you for showing up and being here. And thank you, Sarah, for that wonderful prayer. This first song that I am introducing is the first time I'm actually performing it. I wrote this song last year. That came through me when I was going through a difficult time during COVID, and it's just kind of a prayer in song form of just the presence reminding us that everything is really okay right here, right now. So I'm a little song bowl. So I hope you enjoy. Everything is all right. everything is okay. Remember to be present. Don't let the past get in your way. Burdened by the shadows of my mind. Creeping in so slowly, begging me to rewind. But something in the present reminds me to stay here. The wind whispers so softly that there's nothing to fear, because everything is all right. Everything is okay. Remember to be present. Don't let it all get in your way. Nothing's in control now. My mind is running wild in fear and doubt and scarcity, leading me to exile. But something in the present reminds me to stay here, with God always beside me. I know there's nothing to fear, because everything is all right. Everything will heal. Just let it all flow out now, and all will be revealed. There is a light within you, as it's shining in me. I recognize your power. If only you would set it free, because everything is all right. Everything will heal. Forgiveness and courage will let things be revealed. Let everything be all right. Let everything be okay. Everything is okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. Our hearts are open. We're ready to go. So now I can share Sarah's bio. She's obviously a singer and songwriter. She's also a clinical social worker born and raised in Fresno, California. She's been singing since elementary school, where she first sang in the school choir. As she grew older, her love for music grew stronger and she gained more confidence in her own unique voice. She currently sings with the Agape International Choir based in Los Angeles, and she's performed alongside such artists as Sarah Todd, Deanna Carpenter, Ray Davis, and Marianne Lewis. Sarah is also passionate about human rights, uplifting the human spirit, and currently works as a clinical therapist and group facilitator for survivors of sexual assault with Safe Bay, an organization dedicated to empowering youth and standing up against sexual assault. Her ultimate mission is to embody being a beneficial presence on the planet, and she says her voice is her superpower. which it definitely is. I would say it's your heart coming through your voice there, Sarah. So thank you so much for being here. And of course, I know a lot of those people. I sang in the choir for 11 years. So that was a great, great time in my life. And I really appreciated it and enjoy it. And I am just going to change my view so I can see all of you and take a sip of my tea here. Happy Mother's Day again to all the moms. So in my spiritual espresso today, I write a daily shot of spiritual espresso and I record a prayer to go with it. And some of you probably received that, I'm sure. And I was sharing today that one of the big healings in my life was realizing that a lot of the anger and resentment that I felt and directed towards my mother, feeling disappointed, angry, and hurt with her. It took me a very long time to realize this, and it wasn't until I was truly willing to let my judgments go that I finally saw with real clarity that I was actually expressing these feelings that I felt for myself and projecting it onto my mother. That really, you know what, Jorge, I'm just going to ask, can we turn off your camera for a minute? Because all your movements just a little distracting to me. I'm sorry. Just until you settle down. Thank you, my love. So I was so grateful when I finally realized that while I thought I was angry at my mom and I thought I was resentful towards my mom, what really was going on was that I was not being loving towards my mother. Of course, not all the time, but I would get so angry and frustrated with her, and I would take it out on her. And when I was a teenager, I would get so angry because I felt disappointed. I wanted her to be a different kind of mom. I wanted to have one of those moms that they have on TV shows where like the mom and the teenage girl are besties, you know, but the mom is still the mom and the kid is still the kid, but somehow they magically have a relationship where they're also really good friends. And my mom didn't know how to do that. She didn't have a clue how to do that. She had so many issues with her mom. And I wanted something that she couldn't give me. And I wasn't helpful. I wasn't helpful. I didn't help her out with it, you know. I put it all on her, as children often do. And so I was angry and resentful towards my mother. And I took it out on her. I'd swear at her and get so mad at her. And what really, really drove me nuts was she let me. She let me yell at her. She let me swear at her. I mean, there were times when she would, my parents would say, you know, you have to go to your room. My father would wash my mouth out with soap, things like that, to punish me, because that was the way they knew. They didn't have a way to say, oh, honey, what's really going on here? Let's talk about this and get to the bottom of it. What they knew was control, punish, lay down the law, that kind of thing. And so, and I'm not complaining. I'm past complaining about my parents, really. I had the perfect parents for me, and I am extremely grateful because I always knew every minute of my life that my parents loved me and they would go to the mat for me. And you really can't ask for more than that. You know, that they provided, they protected, and they absolutely made it 100% clear that they loved me and they took their responsibility seriously. They just had a different style than I would have liked. And I learned through it. So for me, I had this realization in my 40s, as my mother was very close to the end of her life. And she was very sick at the end of her life. But I realized that all that anger I took out on her, I was really mad at myself. I was mad at myself for not being loving. I felt guilty for not being loving. I felt ashamed for not being loving. And the shame led to fear. And the fear was that there's something terribly wrong with me. I'm an evil person. I'm a bad person. Something wrong with me that's not fixable, not redeemable. And the fact that I would get so angry at my parents and my mother and take it out on them was proof positive that I was a demon seed, that I was just not a good person, really bad. And there was no hope for me. And so that would then lead me to despair and anger, more fear. It was like a soup of toxicity. And I took it out on her. And I blamed her for how I felt. But I didn't understand it at all until right before she died. And I'm so glad that I figured it out whenever I figured it out, because I do, at least on a very clear intellectual level, not always on a heart level, but in my mind, I know this is an illusion and I am not a prisoner of time and space. I'm having an experience that I chose to have in time and space. And while there are many times when I think, Mother, Father, God, I don't like this at all, dang, jeepers, creepers, this is effed up, man, you know? But there are also more times when I think, oh my God, this life is so amazing and so beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you for my precious life. I love this life. And so one of the greatest gifts in my life was that realization that the anger and the hurt and the resentment that I felt for so many years was of my own making. It had nothing to do with my mother. It really didn't. And while I didn't really get to say that to her clearly, in the last months of her life, I was living with my parents during the last 4 months of my mom's life. And so I was a full-time caregiver along with my dad, and she was really incapacitated. So I got to spend my entire day with her. And that was wonderful. It was really wonderful because everything was resolved by then. And so there was just love, the symbiotic love that mother and child will often have for each other in the first year of life. We had it in the last year of her life. And we really did engage in that kind of loving gazing where you just look at each other with such love. And that was such a gift for both of us. And at one point I said to her, it was wintertime, and I said to her, Mom, is there anything that you're holding against me that you want to talk about, anything like that, any unforgiveness, any kind of thing like that, I think now's a good time for us to talk about it. If you're holding anything against me, let's just talk about it. And she said, oh, honey, I'm not holding anything against you anymore. That's all over. She said, what about you? Do you have anything you're holding against me? And I said, I don't. I really don't. So we really were complete. And I'd like folks to know that you can get to that completion, whether the person is still alive or not. It doesn't matter, because everyone is still alive. There is no death. We're all still alive. It's really true. It's really true. And if we would like to know that it's true, we will feel that it's true. But if we don't want to know that it's true, it will feel like it's not true. And sometimes we really like this idea of separation. And I've told the story a number of times how a couple months, maybe 5-6 weeks actually, a month after my mom passed away, my dad took me to the airport. I was going back home to LA. We were having a little bite of lunch before I got on the plane. And he said, I can't believe your mother's gone. Just can't believe it. And I said, Dad, what if she's not gone? What if she's gone ahead? What if she's gone ahead? And that's how it feels to me. She's gone ahead, but she's not gone. She's just gone ahead. And so, and she's been in my dreams a lot lately, a lot. And about a couple of weeks after that conversation with my father, I was back in LA. And I was aware of a thing that I have felt a number of times in my life. Probably some of you can relate to this. So I was aware of, in that particular time of my life after my mother died, that I was supposed to be grieving, right? And I was special, because now I was a motherless child. I'd lost my mother. So I was in a special, it was fresh. I was special. People would be like, oh, your mom just died. Oh, yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I'm special right now, And in the past, I have felt times where I was special, that kind of want to milk that specialness, right? Even though you don't want your mom to die, it's like, well, she did die, so I'm going to milk the specialness, and see what the universe will bring me. And some of the times of specialness like that in my past life, past experience of life, I would milk it with myself, with other people. But I reached a point in my spiritual journey where I really am not interested in specialness. I actually, sometimes I notice I have an aversion to specialness. People want to make me special. I'm like, I'm out of here. It makes me uncomfortable. But in this particular day, I started thinking, I'm never gonna hug my mother again. And I'm never gonna be able to just sit and talk with my mother again. And I started thinking of these things that I wouldn't ever be able to do again. And I don't know if it was Archangel Michael or my higher self. It kind of felt like Archangel Michael, but it doesn't really matter. It's all the same to me. But the wiser part of my awareness said, as I was thinking these things and starting to cry, the wiser part of me said, what are you doing? Why are you telling yourself these things? You know they're not true. And I realized, yeah, why am I telling myself these things? I do know they're not true. And it was great because I had this realization that I thought I'm supposed to cry and grieve and miss my mother and feel sad and like this sense of loss. And one of the thoughts I'd had was, I'm never going to hear my mother's voice again. And the higher consciousness said, you can hear your mother's voice anytime you'd like. In fact, it's a way for you to connect with her. The vibration, the tenor of her voice is a way, think of her voice, and you'll be connected with her. You can hear your mother's voice whenever you'd like. And I thought, yeah, that feels really true to me. And so I stopped crying and I realized, yeah, I don't want to go down that road of crying and grieving. I mean, if it naturally occurs, I'm not going to push it down. I don't want to push my feelings down anymore. I spent too many years really walled off from my feelings, not realizing that my feelings were one of the best spiritual tools I have in my awakening toolkit. That it's so critical that I allow myself to feel my feelings without stoking the fire, like saying, I'm never going to hear my mother's voice again. I'm never going to hug my mother again. I'm never going to eat her cake again or whatever. It's so important to just feel, oh, I miss my mom. I'd like to be with my mom. Hey, mom, I'm feeling you. I'm feeling the love, and I'm connecting with you heart to heart. To have a spiritually mature way of honoring my feelings, but not falling into the tar pit of feelings and emotions. Because feelings are meant to pass through like clouds in the sky, right? Imagine if you had a cloud that just sat over your house for 6 years or something, it never moved. That would be freaky, right? So we just let the emotions move like clouds through the sky. Now, of course, one of the things in my journey of coming to all this love and peace with my mother was I was required to take responsibility for how I felt and all the misperceptions and projections of over the years. And I had to forgive myself for having created this wall between me and my mom that I blamed her for. I had to forgive myself for that. And fortunately, I was able to do it. I was able to do it. And the great thing is about self-forgiveness, when we do it authentically, and we're really willing to let the attack thoughts go, let those judgments go, let those complaints go, let those regrets go and those grievances go, when we're really able and willing to do that, then it doesn't matter that it took us 40 years. In that moment of true forgiveness and thereafter, it doesn't matter that it took 40 years. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it took 40 years or a day. And to me, one of the things that is the nature of God's infinite grace is that when we stand in that place of sunshine, of forgiving ourselves for the crazy ass stuff that we have done, the stuff that just is absolute insanity, Because who among us, really, who among us have not been in the experience of saying in our mind, I love that person so much, I could kill them, or I love that person so much, I'd like to smack them because they're not living their life the way I want them to live it. I love that person so much, I'd like to lock them in a room and throw away the key and punish them forever. And I'd like to give them a piece of my mind and just tell them they're stupid and foolish and I mean, is there anybody in your life that you've really, really loved that's an adult that you haven't wanted to just, why oughta, even though you adore them and love them, right? That's the ego experience. That is the ego experience. I hate you, I love you. That's the ego experience. We signed up for an ego experience, so it has that stuff in it. And so for me, my experience with my mother taught me that when I have those crazy ego thoughts, I don't have to feel guilty about it. I'm having an ego experience. There will be crazy, maniacal thoughts. And sometimes we'll believe them, and so we'll feel really upset. But we will come back to ourselves. We will come back into our right mind, and we will remember to laugh. And so for me, it's really about being focused on remembering to laugh, being willing to remember to laugh, and above all, to have compassion, to have compassion. I am so inspired by the Bodhisattva. So that in the Buddhist tradition, there's the Bodhisattva, and there have been many wonderful Bodhisattva beings in the history of humanity. Bodhisattva is someone who is here to live a life of service, and having this human experience to have a life of service. And the Bodhisattva has taken a vow not to attain enlightenment until everyone has attained enlightenment. So to hang out until everybody goes home. And there was a time in my life I would have thought, nope, first train out of here, I'm out. I'm out of this crazy, crazy town. I am not interested in staying in this place. And by many people's accounts, I've had an easy life. I would think, I never starved. I've never had cancer. I've just I've had pretty. I mean, there are times when I wanted to kill myself. I was so miserable, but I didn't. So thank God for that. So the Bodhisattva loves humanity. And so the Bodhisattva, like the Father God that Jesus talks about in A Course in Miracles, loves us completely, fully as we are. We do not have to be nicer, kinder, smarter, prettier, or anything like that. Just as we are, total, perfect love. And this life that we're living is a gift to us to experience what it's like to be a creator. It's a gift to us to experience what it's like to live for a time believing that God does not exist and coming back into our right mind. It's an extraordinary adventure that requires a lot of effort on the part of a lot of beings. And yet we've gone on this roller coaster ride, and we still have a ways to go. But the great thing is when we realize that it's just an experience, it's an illusion, it's an experience, and every part about it is precious. It's precious. It's a precious opportunity of exploration, of consciousness, an exploration of love, an exploration of compassion, an exploration of creativity, an exploration of beauty and joy and freedom and all these spiritual qualities. And we can go this way, we can go that way. There's this perfect path that's laid out for us, and we can navigate it in a way that is expressive of our own inclinations, that we have this tremendous opportunity to explore the power of the mind, to bring things into manifestation. And we can manifest what we don't want. We can manifest what we fear. Whatever we put our attention on, we can focus on it, bring it into manifestation, bring it into our experience. And we can choose to focus on what we don't like, or we can choose to focus on being of service. We can choose to focus on pleasure. We can choose to focus on creativity. We can choose to focus on whatever we'd like. This tremendous opportunity. Even people who are in solitary confinement in prison, they can choose to focus on whatever they would like and explore the one mind. And even in the most solitary confinement, there's no way we can ever be alone, because we travel with so many wonderful beings who are always there with us. And this is one of the messages of Jesus in his human life and in A Course in Miracles. I am always with you. And so for me, when we get to this place where we do feel regret, resentment, hurt, shame, all of that, we can call upon these magnificent beings. And the bodhisattvas that are visible and the ones that are invisible, and our own inner bodhisattva. And we can say, regardless of all the choices I've made in the past that were blocking the flow of love, today that ends. That ends now. Today, it's a new day, this moment. And it could be 11:58 at night. And it's like, today is still can be the new day, the transformation. It's always there for us. And I've witnessed many people experience this heart-opening transformation. And the one thing is, we do have to believe that we're worthy of it. And how we become worthy of it is we say, that's what I choose. That's what I like. So in this moment now, regardless of what your experience has been in the past with your mother, your sister, your brother, your father, with any particular being, if you feel guilty, you feel ashamed, you feel regret, you feel resentment, you feel anger, you feel hurt towards that person or those persons, would you be willing to look at the underneath it all? One of the roots of the upset is that we could have chosen love, but we didn't. That our life purpose is to bring the love, be the love, see the love, know the love, share the love. And whenever we choose not to do that, it upsets us. And if we make it somebody else's fault, we are going to miss the point. And we've missed the point millions of times, but it can all stop right now. And we can get it right now. We can truly get it right now. Our willingness is all that's required to see that the reason why we feel angry or ashamed or resentful is because we are projecting that guilt that we didn't choose love, but we could have choose love. That we are on a mission from God to bring the love, and we forgot our mission. And we decided we were on a different mission. We were on a mission to get stuff. We were on a mission to be important or to whatever. We forgot, oh no, I'm here to be truly helpful. We can be so helpful right now. And then every one of those million choices that we made in the past, they all fall like dominoes. And now they're meaningless because now we're choosing love. And this was one of the main messages that Jesus gave us in his waking, in his human life, was that whenever you return home, whenever you come to the field to work, whenever you show up, you get the full load. You do not get just a piece. You get the full load because you are worthy of the full load. You get paid for the full day, even if you show up just as they're giving out the pay. Even if you've squandered your inheritance, the minute you come home, you will be welcomed as the magnificent royalty that you are. And that is the story of God, because no one holds anything against us except ourselves. And as soon as we liberate in our own heart, everybody else, they flip like dominoes. They do. I see it over and over and over again with the folks in Masterful Living and Finding Freedom, the folks doing this work. As soon as they forgive themselves, everybody else gets on board. Lori Gifford is one of the spiritual counselors, and she's been leading meditation for a small group that she's going to start doing it for the whole ministry, and it's in the morning. And she ends it with the, I call it the My Purpose prayer from A Course in Miracles. And it's from chapter 2, section 5. It's also called the Truly Helpful Prayer, but I really like it as My Purpose Prayer. I'm the one that called it that. Jesus doesn't call it that, but this is where he's telling us this is the prayer about your purpose. And so many of you know it. And my pal David Hoffmeister, he said when he first started studying A Course in Miracles, he decided to say the purpose prayer every time he went through a doorway. So even if he went from his bedroom to the bathroom and the bathroom to the bedroom, he'd say it coming and going every time he went through a doorway. I think that's a wonderful way to really practice deeply, is to have that kind of a commitment. And so I'd like to share the My Purpose prayer here. And many of you know it, so feel free to say it along with me. We're all muted, so have at it. If you have the FIP version of the course, it's on page 28. And it starts like this. I'm here only to be truly helpful. I'm here to represent him who sent me. I do not have to worry about what to say or what to do, because he who sent me will direct me. I'm content to be wherever he wishes, knowing he goes there with me. I will be healed as I let him teach me to heal. Now, I modify it many times because I don't think of God as a him, and I don't think of the Holy Spirit as a him, a male figure. And so I say it this way, just a little bit differently. I'm just tossing it out there because sometimes people get put off by some of that paternalistic language in A Course in Miracles. I am here only to be truly helpful. I am here to represent the one who sent me. I don't have to worry about what to say or what to do or where to go or when to go because the one who sent me will direct me. I'm content to be wherever God wishes, knowing God goes there with me. I am being healed, and I am letting God show me how to heal. So make your own variation if it feels better to you. But let's live this. Let's live this. I can honestly say that once I decided this is my purpose, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing while I'm teaching a class, while I'm working in the garden, while I'm making cookies, while I'm making my bed. Whatever it is I'm doing, this is what I'm doing. I'm here only to be truly helpful. And living this way, there's no worry. There's no worry because there's nothing to worry about. We are guided and directed in every single moment. And we can get there simply through the self-forgiveness, forgiving ourselves for forgetting to be loving, forgiving ourselves because we didn't fulfill our purpose. Then we're remembering now, and now is the perfect time. Now is the perfect time for everybody to remember. And as soon as we do, it doesn't matter that we didn't remember earlier, because literally there is no earlier. There is only now. It's the perfect now moment. And our doing this, we do it for everyone because we are one with everyone. So we are living and fulfilling the purpose of God as our very life. And there is no other way to be happy. There is no other way. This is the only way. And we can do it whether we're a hairdresser or an electrician or a farmer or stockbroker. It doesn't matter. We can still, it's just because that's got nothing to do with it. This is our purpose. So let's place our hands on our hearts here. And let's just see if we can move into that place of self-forgiveness, that we forgot to choose love, that we didn't care about love for a minute or two, that we had that experience. Forgiving ourselves for the debts and the trespasses, realizing that there is no debt. There is no debt. As soon as we give up the idea that there is a debt, there is no debt. The debt is an illusion. And in this place of self-forgiveness, we really can recognize that anything we're holding against anyone else, that in our loving heart, all we're interested in doing is setting everyone free. They don't owe us anything. We're not debt collectors. That's not our role. Our role is to be truly helpful, to have compassion. To forgive and to be forgiven means to let go of any and all judgments. We don't have to figure out how. Our job is only to allow. Sometimes we realize we need to say something to someone, but more often than not, we can just hold them in our loving prayers. Let all of our brothers and sisters know this freedom from the past judgments. Our job, our mission in this world is to set everyone free. What a wonderful thing. What a wonderful thing. Think of how many lifetimes we've gone through to get to this point in the awakening of humanity. The end is in sight, and we are bringing the light. The darkness is over. The light has come. So let's take a couple of deep breaths together here, and Amy is going to give us another song. Amy, not Amy, Sarah. I don't know where that came from. There, whenever you're ready, Sarah.
There we go. Okay. Hi. I just ran to get the computer charger because it's on 10%. So perfect. It's a personal favorite. Why should I feel discouraged? Why should the shadows come? Why should my heart be lonely and long for heaven and home? When spirit is my portion, a constant friend is it. Its eye is on the sparrow, and I know it watches over me. Its eye is on the sparrow, and I know it watches me. I sing because I'm happy. I sing because I'm free. Its eyes on the sparrow, and I know it watches me. eyes on the sparrow.
I think she blew out the circuits. Maybe she didn't get her laptop plugged in and it went kaput. Well, I'm sure she'll figure it out. She'll be back with us. It's so funny. I was just like floating on that cloud with her. So let's go to our breakout. So we do something here. If you're here for the first time, we do something a little unusual, and we just love it. So we go into breakouts, into small group breakouts, so that you can share with your breakout partners, and everybody gets to share then. Of course, you don't have to share if you don't wish to share, but the invitation is to really anchor into that self-forgiveness, forgiving yourself for maybe taking your anger out on somebody else. And if you had a realization that the anger, the resentment, the hurt that you blamed somebody else for maybe had to do with not having compassion, knowing that your life purpose is to be that loving presence, and you're actually mad at yourself for not having been loving and forgetting your life purpose. So that self-forgiveness, it's profound gold and diamonds that you can share with everyone, whether you ever speak of it or not. But this is an opportunity for just a few minutes to share about it in a small group. So in your small group, if you can just make sure everybody who would like to share gets a chance to share. If you don't feel like sharing, that's fine. Just enjoy listening to your brothers and sisters having that moment of healing, and give them that love and support that their courage truly deserves. All right, so Sean is our host today, and she is driving this plane, so she's going to open up those groups, and you'll see the button there, and you can click on the join button and head in, and we'll be back shortly. Sarah, we figured you didn't get your computer plugged in, and so you lost your power.
I did. That is exactly what happened. So apologies, but hey, got some of the song in there, right? That's what matters.
I think you got most of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, we totally understand, and we're just happy you're back. I knew you'd come back. All is well. You know,
Yes.
I've been living in this Zoom land for 6 years now, and it's just like just going with the flow.
Right. If anything, that's exactly what it's teaching. It's like, all right, this is where we're going. So we're just gonna navigate, adjust, and keep flowing, keep going.
Exactly. So we're going to have a small little breakout here with the folks that are here. And Kieran J, would you like to start us off?
Thanks, Jennifer. Hello, everybody.
Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. Yeah, we had it a few months ago in the UK. We have a different timing, but yes, happy Mother's Day to you folks in the US. Very beautiful to know of your practice of forgiveness and the healing you found with your mum. Yeah, absolutely wonderful. And where I feel I'd like to go with some sharing is you talked about we have this wonderful opportunity to explore the power of the mind and what we can do with that. And I had an experience yesterday which was very powerful, and is a real invitation to explore the power of my mind. I woke up yesterday morning with a very clear spirit invitation to see myself only in a light body from now on, and to let go of thoughts of a physical body. Okay, I hear you. So I was with that. I could feel the power of it. I could feel this was absolutely what I'm to do now. So my mind was, of course, tick whirring about how this might be. And during the day, I realized what the invitation was about, or part of it. I'm sure there's lots more to come, but we could not project onto a body of light. If we imagine that our vehicle in this world is now light, we could not project the trauma of separation onto it. We can only project onto a physical body. And I took it as the forgiveness invitation to withdraw all projections of sickness, anger. I put a lot of anger in my body over the years, more in than out. It's a clarion call to just not do that, not do it anymore. A light body cannot have symptoms. A light body is the perfect flowing of spirit through my mind, taking subtle form. You know, a light body is on the way to knowing myself as formless light. I know intellectually, and I have glimpses of it, but now something's really got going about seeing myself as light, and this is the means that Spirit has given me. And it's fantastic. And it's sending the ego every which way, of course, because my body has been a good dumping ground for ego stuff. And this is, no, do not do that anymore. See yourself as light. And see everybody else as light, of course. So the practice now is, you know, as I look at your faces, as I look at people in the street, as I look at anybody, it's to know that the face and the body that we see is this really flimsy shadow over a light body. What's really there is a light body. So it's a powerful invitation to adopt Christ's vision. So I'm now looking at you with your flimsy veil of hair and clothes, but knowing there's a light body there, and we are perfectly joined as light bodies. There's no distinction, no separation, no gap. Because of course, all sickness is because we think there's a gap. So this is the way Spirit is giving me to work on no gap, no projection on the body, only light, only a perfect following of Spirit, joining the Spirit. So that's my sharing for today. Thank you.
Healing is happening.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Ah, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing all that with us. It's too good to keep inside. Thank you. Rosalind, happy Mother's Day.
Thank you, my dear. Yes, there are so many poignant moments in your talk today. And with the Sarahs both pointing us to the now, our prayer pointing us to partnering up, and our songstress pointing us to the now in her first song. But I want to say first, aside from what Kieran J just said, recently I've been giving a number of talks on the non-dual different places. And what's coming up is a talk with a group about grieving and loss. And what came over me, even though those other talks were, in the world's terms, a success, they were fine, people liked them, I liked it, it felt like the tone was not right. I don't want to go there with that kind of talk. But I didn't know what would be next. So the partnering prayer is perfect, because what came to me, and I was standing up, I wasn't even at my desk, I wasn't on my computer, I was standing up, and there were some Crayola markers near me, and I started writing, and what came out was a fairy tale between a tree and a tulip, and they were having a conversation about the people. And why I'm bringing this up, I had no intention of bringing this up today, but when Kieran J just said about the light, I had no idea how the fairy tale was going to end. How were they going to communicate to the people that they could see the cautionary tale of where the people were heading in their beliefs and their thinking about death and life and who they are, and everything we always talk about, that's truth. I had no idea what was going to come. And it was the light. The tree had the people stumble on the roots and stop them in their tracks. And this couple, the man had lost his wife, in quotes, through death, and he thought his life was over. And the tree shone his light into the people, and the resonance of the light within the person picked up the truth of the light, and it goes on from there. But I just think it was a shock to me, and there you are with the light this week as well. So I love that. And can I add that I was the cool mom, and my daughter Allie wanted the mom with curlers in her hair and a house dress to come to school. Her friends loved talking to us, and she couldn't stand that. She wanted the frumpy mom in the kitchen, whatever. And I hated that my mom was German. I wanted an American mom. So there we go. And I so resonate with your experiences with your mom's passing. You know that we share that life got bigger and bolder and more touching. And I just want to say that the collective doesn't help us with what they teach us about grieving. Statements from brilliant people that say things like, the degree to which you suffer is the degree to which you loved. Ugh.
Yeah.
And on like that. So it's just really helpful for anybody who is grieving that there is another way, and that those norms don't help us, because they were conceived by the ego or some other societal collective. But there is another way, and Jennifer really laid that out for us. And Spirit will show anybody who is grieving on this Mother's Day. Many people have lost through COVID their mothers. It's their first Mother's Day. And we're here. We're here for you. We stand beside you. And we don't need to even label feelings. They come 90 seconds, they're done. By the time you've come up with your word and your description, they're over. And the flow can be there just in terms of noticing a constriction, noticing water in the eyes, noticing a heart broken open. We don't have to even label them, and we can find freedom. So thank you, Jennifer, for that offering to all this Mother's Day.
Thank you, Rosalind. Thank you. Yes. Well, we've got some more time here. Faith, would you like to share?
Sure, I would love to. Thank you, Rosalind, for that reminder of emotions. And my mother did pass away several years ago, and I had the great opportunity to heal that relationship with my mother years before that happened. But it was in my 40s and when that happened for me, because I had carried, like all of us, Rosalind, you wanting your mother to be different. We all wanted our mothers to somehow to be different. Or I don't know, all of us did, but many of us did. And I wanted her to be that mother who was more that friend who I could confide in, and I never could. And I didn't think that she got me. You know, my mom didn't get me. That's what I thought all of the time. She didn't. And through a lot of spiritual practice and forgiveness work and realization of honoring love, I started to honor the love that she was giving me, however it showed up. And in that honoring process, I just decided that was going to be enough. Well, miracles happened shortly after that. My mother started sending me little like cards and things like that she never did before. And she seemed to really get me, you know. I never told her that I had opened my heart to her, because that's what I did. I just opened my heart to her. And what happened was, it was as if I was so filled up with her love when I opened my heart to her. And that whole saying of the years the locusts have eaten are now given back to you, right?
Mhm.
It's exactly what happened. It's as if I never carried that. And so I'm so grateful on this Mother's Day to have had that healing. I honor, and oh, Jennifer, when you said she's gone before me, she's not gone, she's gone before me. It just put everything into such a beautiful light for me today. So I want to honor that. Thank you. And I'm thinking of both my parents on this day, as they've just gone before me, and my grandmother, and you know, David Powell, and many people that I love have just gone before me. That's all. Thank you.
Yes. 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 Thank you. Thank you, Faith. Yeah, I remember when you had that shift with your mom. It was so beautiful. Yeah, such answered prayer, working in the invisible. We can amaze ourselves. Sarah and Angelides, would you like to share a little bit before Sarah closes us out with her thoughts?
Sure. Thank you everyone for sharing. I just amazing how it's just so synchronistic, and how that we're all relating to each other so much. Karen J, I can relate to your story. I got a very similar message when I was sick with lupus many years ago. And it was the Course in Miracles, I am not my body, I'm free, I'm still as God created me. And that message just sunk in on a totally different level. And I heard Spirit say, it's an experience. It's not just the words that you are a light body. And when I would have so much pain in my body, I would sink into that. And really, sorry about that. Really, it's hard to even put into words, but to understand that that's who we really are, and that that's who everyone is, and see only that. And I really believe that continually coming back to that is what healed the lupus. And, you know, I shared this in my mastery circle the other day. And whenever I have some kind of physical pain, I kind of go back to that. And for some reason, it was easier when it was a lot worse, when the symptoms were worse. It was easier to get to that light body place. But I'm still, that lesson is just sunk in so deeply. So it just felt so good to hear you explain it in a different way, and to resonate that I feel like I'm not alone in my experience, and that that's a truth. And it was just really beautiful to hear you tell that story. So thank you. And I can also relate to being a mother and having, or my mother, and having a really just difficult relationship early on, and over the years of opening my own heart and doing a lot of forgiving and really setting boundaries with my mom. And you know, it was really, I took a lot of courage to set boundaries with her, but it healed our relationship, you know, just doing my own self-forgiveness work and honoring my needs, and years of doing that. And now I also get letters and notes from my mother that are just nothing like I got years ago. And it's because of the work, like you so beautifully explained, Faith, that it's your own forgiveness work, that opening of your own heart that allows their heart to open, or your experience to change, the miracle to happen. So thank you for sharing that too. So thank you, everybody.
Yes. Yes. Wow. We're all inspiring each other. It's beautiful. Thank you, Sarah. Sarah Mayo, would you like to share a few words before we come out of our breakout? Oh, here they come. Dang. Feel free though, Sarah, if you'd like to make any comment. I think you're talking. There we go.
There we go. Okay. I very much resonated with your just experience with a mother, with not just like divine feminine, but just with my mom. In this room that I'm singing in, there is a picture right ahead of me of my mom and my stepdad, and just like looking at me, just like glowing, just, you know, representing that unconditional love. And I mean, it kind of goes into the song that I'll like end with, but just really doing the work and letting go and recognizing a lot of the anger and resentment that I held as well, and giving myself permission to forgive myself and let that go, and honor my mom for all that she is and all that she has given me, you know, in my life, in this life, and how much of me really does resemble her, and how we're just reflections of each other. So it really, really touched me. Everybody's share really just, and story has touched me. So I'm really honored to be doing this work now while I still have her here. And yeah, I feel very connected with all of this. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. Ah, beautiful, beautiful. Good things are happening on this fine day. So let's see here. We're going to make some announcements, and then Sarah is going to give us another song, and then Sarah is going to give us another prayer. So, and then we're going to go on about the rest of our day. So announcements. I'm doing a new program called Depression Demolition. It's open to anyone, and it's really for folks who've been experiencing long time or short time depression, but it could also be anger, anxiety, intense emotional upset. And what I have seen in my Finding Freedom program, in my Masterful Living program, the folks who have had chronic depression, chronic anger and hurt and other kinds of emotional intensity have been able to, including a suicidal, very strong suicidal thoughts and feelings, that they have been able to truly put those into the past and heal and move on in a miraculous way. So in this depression demolition program, I'm isolating the things that I know contribute to that. So as I've said before, I am not a healer for anyone else but me. I can't heal other people's issues, but I can help them heal themselves. And I've learned so much, and we are going to do this in a concentrated program. It's a 9-week program, first time offering it. And I'm so excited to do this program because I know we're going to have amazing results and people are going to feel liberated. So that's my goal. If it calls to you, please check it out at jenniferhadley.com, Depression Demolition. For those of you who've been waiting for the next Finding Freedom, my spiritual boot camp, Finding Freedom from Fear, with A Course in Miracles principles. Everything I do is with A Course in Miracles principles. And Finding Freedom will start at the beginning of June. Depression Demolition starts a week from today, So now's the time to jump in. Finding Freedom registration is open for the rest of the month. And those are the main announcements I have. If you'd like to make a contribution to the ministry, to support our Sundays with Spirit, to support the podcast, the Course in Miracles podcast, and all the many free offerings, the daily prayers, the daily inspiration, all the different things that we offer. One of the easiest ways to do it is to sign up for our text messages. We send inspirational text messages every day, and you can sign up for that at acimtexts.com, acimtexts.com, or you can sign up on the events page at jenniferhadley.com. So, and you can also see whatever else is coming up there and some free offerings. We've always got free stuff we're giving away. So your contributions really do make it possible to tithe to our speakers and our singers and to support this entire ministry being able to give more and more and more. We're working on some really cool new programs. Always something new is in the hopper. That's how I am. I can't help myself. God gives me an infinite amount of creativity. I'm telling you, living that truly helpful prayer, I don't ever have to wonder what to say or what to do because there's there's always 20,000 things in the hopper coming forward. So I thank you to those who do tithe and contribute. Thank you so much. And Sarah Mayo, do you have any announcements that you'd like to make where people can find your music and things like that?
There we go. Okay. So so you can find me on Instagram at, well, that's Lizbeth is the username. There's like a dot in between. So I'll be posting all of my music and videos up there on that Instagram page. That's what I'm working on right now. And I appreciate all your support. So that's what I got. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And now we're ready for your next song. Oh, let's get you unmuted.
Okay, there we go. So real quick, last song, I called Falling Away, just kind of a culmination of everything, just letting it all, surrendering to it, surrendering to the one, surrendering to the present moment, and just letting everything that has held me down and has kept me in this little perfectionistic bubble just burst and just be free. So enjoy. All of the ways I walked in pain, all of the times I felt I couldn't go on. the guilt, the shame, and all the things that held me down are falling away from me. Okay, I'm just gonna sing it a cappella. Are falling away from me. They're falling away from me. I'm rising up. It's all falling away from me. Heavenly Spirit, there is something I want to say to you. Words can't contain it, for the little that I can do. You lift me up like the vastness of the ocean, and you heal my heart. And I'm filled with such devotion. All of the ways I walked in pain, all of the times I felt I couldn't go on. The guilt, the shame, and all the things that held me down, falling away from me. They're falling away from me. I'm rising up, rise up, it's falling away from me. What I'm trying to say, Lord, is beyond imagination. It's more than I prayed for, that such joy can fill my being. You brought a blessing that I'm just beginning to see. I gotta rise on up and accept that I am free. All of the ways I've walked in pain, all of the times I felt I couldn't go on. The guilt, the shame, and all the things that held me down are falling away from me. Yes, they're falling away from me. I'm rising up, rise up, they're falling away from me. Away from me. Away from me. All of the ways I've walked in pain, all of the times I felt I couldn't go on. The guilt, the shame, and all the things that held me down are falling away from me. Yes, they're falling away from me. I'm rising up. Yes, they're falling away from me. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Sarah. That was beautiful, 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 beautiful. I heard the whole choir. And I see some of them. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you for blessing us this Mother's Day Sunday with your beautiful talent, your beautiful light. Thank you, Sarah. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for joining us this Sunday. Sarah Angelides is going to take us home with a prayer.
Oh, thank you, Sarah. That was just so beautiful. I felt so moved to tears from your beautiful song. Just taking a deep breath of gratitude for this beautiful, powerful healing service today. So grateful for this time together to celebrate Spirit. We're so willing to offer up any resistance or reluctance to allowing and accepting the light and love of God into our hearts and souls as we go on our day today. And we declare our oneness with God and all beings and willingly share the healing benefits of this service with all, because we are one. We are truly one, and we let it be, and so it is. Amen.
Amen, amen, amen. Thank you, everybody. Happy Mother's Day. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, GJ. Thank you, everybody who contributed. Thank you, Faith, Kieran J, Rosalind. Love you all. Mwah.